Out of the crisis, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau was born, and this week the Bureau unveiled something called Know Before You Owe. Take a look. These are two prototypes of a simple two-page form to replace the existing lengthy and mostly confusing disclosure documents involved in getting a mortgage. Elizabeth Warren is one of the architects of those documents, amongst many other things, and she has been chosen to get this consumer watchdog group off the ground. Elizabeth, the CARD Act reformed to some degree the credit card industry by mandating some degree of simplicity on statements, including an easy-to-understand disclosure of how much people are going to owe if they just make the minimum payment, how much they'll owe if they make more than that. Do you look at that and see it as a precursor to this Know Before You Owe? Is it going to be successful in helping people out when they get mortgages?
Absolutely. I see the CARD Act as the first step, sort of the down payment on a real shift in what we're trying to accomplish. And Know Before You Owe is where we're really going to drive it home. We want consumers to be able to tell what the cost of something is, in this case, what the cost of that mortgage will be. We want them to be able to see the risks up front, and we want them to be able to compare 2 or 3 mortgages with each other so they can know if that's the best deal for me. When we can deliver that, then we have consumers who are better informed and making good decisions, and we start to have a competitive market in consumer credit that actually works to deliver lower prices and better products, just like it should.
So you'll get more information out there. You'll have a more informed consumer. However, that was only one ingredient in the mortgage meltdown. Greed was the other, both on the industry side and on the consumer side. What do we do to combat that?
Well, you know, I want to say part of it was greed and hype. People were signing all kinds of documents that it wasn't clear what was going on in those documents, and a lot of people thought they headed one way and headed another. The Know Before You Owe project is really about the sober look. There's what this thing is going to cost. It says, you know, before you bite something off, check out the size of the bite,
right,
and see what you're going to be involved with here. We've put these things up on the website, at our website, consumerfinance.gov. We really want Americans to take a look at it and to kind of test drive it and say, you know, that's the kind of thing that if everybody faced that sober piece of information, you might make a difference at the margin. Not everybody, but you might make some differences in how people behave.
You've helped me understand a lot of these things over the last couple of years, and one thing I like about you is you completely know what the criticisms are going to be of this. I don't get what the criticism is of giving people greater information, but there have been some people in the industry, the banking industry, who have said that these types of revisions and simplifications could limit innovation and variety in lending. What do they mean by that?
You know, I have to say on this one, the notion that telling people the price clearly means you might not want to offer the product, or, more to the point, somebody might not buy it.
Right.
That just seems to me to be the wrong way to go on this. And I really want to say I'm very pleased about how the industry generally has responded. Sure, there are some people who are going to have their remarks about this, but we did this whole project because it started with conversations with community bankers and credit unions. We talked to them about where the paperwork was too burdensome, where there was too much regulatory apparatus, and where they weren't able to serve their customers. They identified this project, and we're the ones who picked it up. We ran with it. We've talked with them. And right now, what they are telling us, what those folks who are on the ground trying to serve their customers are saying, hey, this looks good for us. It cuts costs for us. It reduces the burden on us. It makes it a little cheaper to put a mortgage forward. That keeps more of us in the market, and we're behind this, behind it big time. And I just couldn't be more pleased. Something that's good for consumers and good for banks.
What a number of those prototype forms, a couple of them show, is exactly what you should be paying for the various parts of a mortgage, what's optional, what shouldn't be there. I mean, I would have loved it for the last several mortgages that I've gone through. Let me ask you about the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. How much authority does it have?
Well, it has, in my view, enough authority to get the main job done. That is, to be able to work on things like this to make prices clear and to make it easy to compare products. But it works under real constrictions. When Congress built this thing a year ago, they put a lot of constraints on this agency, constraints that are not there on other banking regulators. Two big ones. We have a real constraint on our budget. Other banking regulators set their own budgets. Ours is capped. But importantly, it is kept out of the political process. There are politicians now who want to put it in the political process so that the lobbyists will have a real influence over the activities that we take. The other thing we have that I think there's nothing like it anywhere in government is that the other banking regulators can take a look at our rules and say, well, yeah, it may help consumers, but we think it might not work out for financial institutions or be hard on the economy, and therefore we're going to veto your rules. Nobody else does that. And I got to tell you, I don't think we'll do anything like that, but boy, you kind of look over your shoulder when you know that your rules could be vetoed. So there are real constraints in place on this agency. And of course, the ultimate one, if Congress doesn't like what we do, they pass a law and say, not that. They can do that anytime. We have real constraints, but here's the good news. Come July 21st, we're going to take over the authority from 19 different federal statutes that are out there right now in consumer protection. Right now they're administered by 7 different agencies, none of whom has consumer protection as its central mission. We're going to take that over on July 21st, start to work with those statutes, and once we get a director in place, we're going to be in a position to start rocking and rolling on behalf of American consumers.
You have been working on this. This is your passion. You are incremental in your approach. So even if you don't have all the authority you need right now, I suspect you will win it over time. Elizabeth Warren, always a pleasure to speak to you. We wish you the best of luck in your endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you.